Even amid national discourse about a divided country, many Americans are working to bridge divides in their own communities and solve the issues that matter most to them. Judy Woodruff recently visited Rhode Island to see how one program is trying to rebuild trust one relationship at a time. It's part of her series, America at a Crossroads.
The way we're set up in this factory is very modular.
Carl Waddenston is a man on the move. He's president and CEO of Vibco, a leading manufacturer of industrial equipment located in the town of Wyoming, Rhode Island, in the state's south.
Many of the people we sell to are farmers that have a big farm because we sell vibrators for the fertilizer tenders, vibrators for the grain.
It's anything that needs to be shaken
Yeah.
in the process of manufacturing.
And I think they even had one in 007, shaken, not stirred.
In addition to running this factory, trying to stay ahead of his competition and looming tariffs, Waddenston also brings his big personality and problem-solving ethos to the state's Commerce Board, where he helps businesses grow here, even amid a shifting economic outlook.
If we build all these businesses up, we don't have to worry about this tightening because we all float with a rising tide.
Meanwhile, in Providence, the state's urban core, Angie Ancoma is focused on improving public health through affordable housing, healthy food, education, and work.
It's mixed income. Okay. And so some of them are market rate. Yes.
She serves on the board of the West Elmwood Housing Development Corporation, which built this 69-unit loft housing complex and next-door community spaces, including a garden, to produce fresh vegetables for the residents.
Rhode Island needs to build at least close to 2,000 units annually to meet the need. Yes.
Carl and Angie live in different parts of the state, work with different populations, and on the surface might not appear to have much in common. But something they do share is the belief that to address the real challenges before them in housing, transportation, workforce development, and healthcare, they need to find ways to connect with those who are different.
Eastern culture is go to the Gemba. Gemba means the place where things are done. What tells me the real story is going to the bus stop, watching these poor people that are maybe waiting for the bus, going to the hospitals and seeing what's happening with the patient care, talking to the frontline workers. No one has an agenda then.
Right now, people are in each respective corner, and there's very few people in the middle. And there's a point where we need to be able to be in the same room and be in close proximity to one another.
We're going to start with some intentional introductions.
That's what the next morning is all about. Along with more than 50 other participants drawn from a state program called Leadership Rhode Island and representing a cross-section of leaders in business, government, and the nonprofit sector, they meet as part of a trust-building workshop run by a national group called Civity.
We created this word to describe the change that we want to see, which is a culture of deliberately engaging in relationships of respect and empathy with others who are different.
Palma Strand and Malka Coppell founded the nonprofit in 2013.
None of us is just a single story.
Civity uses storytelling to connect people who might feel they have little in common.
My hidden superpower is being able to connect with people.
And I don't know if there's any substitute short of spending time with somebody.
In a peer-reviewed study, Stanford University's Polarization Lab found that their approach in the form of these videos outperformed dozens of others in helping to reduce animosity across party lines, build trust, and increase support for bipartisanship.
I'm a public policy wonk. I came into this work because I care about issues, and I used to think that writing a good memo was the way to fix things. And I started the work because I saw that that wasn't enough, that really these issues really did depend on how people felt about each other and who they thought was in their communities.
I'm the Director of Strategic Communications at the Executive Office of Health and Human Services at the state.
We wanted to see how it worked in practice.
I'm a new grandpa.
Coppell began the session that day by having participants introduce themselves in groups.
Carl Waddenston, And I have two organizations. One, I'm the president of a manufacturing company. We make vibrators, not the sexy brand.
In smaller groups, they talk through the spaces where they see people already connecting and where differences impede that work.
I just see so much opportunity, and then folks usually use like titles, right? Like Republican or Democrat, to create this invisible barrier.
They then paired off for more personal connections. That's where Carl and Angie met face to face and discovered that they had a lot in common.
My mom and dad came from Sweden. So this white bread kid speaks a whole different language. You do? I speak it fluently. I speak Swedish fluently.
When my mother came, she came on like a fiance visa or some sort. And then she had to go back to Ghana after she had me here. And we stayed for like a year. An English-speaking child, went back to Ghana, and then when I came back, I spoke no English. Head Start. I started Head Start.
They then moved on to sharing something even more personal, writing down the things about them that are visible to others, as well as some things that aren't.
On the visible identity, right? Confident, talkative, say yes, ready to go. And the next one is struggling with the loss of a son and grief. Too critical at times and stubborn.
I'm African American. I have locks, my hair, which is similar to Bob Marley's. That means I've been growing my locks for 20 years. You know, similar to you all in terms of grief, I'm also grieving the loss of my dad, who died last year, the day after Father's Day.
The point of all this, says Malka Coppell, is not to resolve differences over the difficult issues facing this state and many others. It's to create a space to build trust, face to face.
What we focus on with the Civity work is the conversation before that conversation. Before you can sit down with someone else and work out these tough issues that we all have to work out, people need to see each other as people.
For their part, Angie Ankoma and Carl Wadenston say they think these exercises could help.
I think that Angie will be somebody that I will use as a resource with the things that she does that I'd like to learn more about what she does in her community and what's behind this. Because working for the governor of our state now and the previous governors, there are things that come up for vote that I spoke to you about, going to the Gemba. She is at the Gemba for her community center of 45 years, and I've been a little bit more than 45 years where I live. So here are two people, very different, but very similar paths, that I'd call out to Angie and say, Angie, there's a bill or something that we're thinking about doing. What's your take on it?
You know, he's going to reach out to me if there's a question. So maybe, you know, Carl's in his sector, you know, planting the seeds of change there. I'm in my area planting seeds of change. And if we're looking at this potentially as a state and national model, we just have to plant seeds of people who are willing to be engaged and have these courageous conversations and be vulnerable.
It can be hard to measure these kinds of changes in relationships, Malka Coppell acknowledges, and change won't happen overnight.
To many Americans, it just feels like we are in a very divided and even ugly moment of division when people think the worst things about people on the other. Not just that they disagree, they think very badly toward people in the other party. That has to make your work harder.
Yes, it does. And hopelessness and fear of others makes our work harder. One thing I would say, though, is that we're a national organization, but we work locally. We work in communities. And there are a lot of positive things to see in communities, because communities, people who kind of already know they're all in it together because of geography, they have a head start.
For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Judy Woodruff in Providence, Rhode Island.